During World War II, the despicable actions of Germany's Nazi Party showed the world just how cruel and horrifying human beings could be to each other with their involvement in the Holocaust. The names of Hitler, Eichmann, and Mengele will always be remembered as some of history's greatest monsters. But there's another name that can be added, a woman now known as the Bitch of Buchenwald, Nazi war criminal Ilse Koch. She was born Margaret Ilse Kohler in 1906 in Dresden, Germany. By all accounts, she had a happy childhood, went to school to become an accountant, and would later take a job as a bookkeeping clerk. She joined the Nazi Party in 1932 and would meet her future husband, Karl Otto Koch, 2 years later, getting married in 1936. That year, she worked as a guard at Sachsenhausen concentration camp, where her husband was a commandant. By 1937, they transferred to Buchenwald, a recently constructed concentration camp near Weimar, Germany. One of her first acts was to embezzle hundreds of thousands of dollars from the inmates to fund her extravagant lifestyle, which included building an arena for her horses while the prisoners literally starved to death. It was in Buchenwald that Ilse Koch created her well-earned reputation as a sadist, from the physical abuse and torture she inflicted on the inmates in her role as an overseer. She would taunt, beat, and whip anyone around her for no reason, and it was rumored that Koch was a nymphomaniac and that she and her husband held orgies before and after committing atrocities. The grisly experiments she helped conduct included skinning and murdering prisoners and turning certain tattooed parts of their bodies into lampshades, book covers, and a pair of human gloves that she wore. Some of these items were recovered and would be particularly damning later during her second trial. Ilse Koch and her husband were arrested August 24, 1943 at Buchenwald for charges of murder and embezzlement and were immediately imprisoned. In 1944, Ilse Koch was acquitted in her first trial for lack of evidence, as nothing could directly tie her to the atrocities. Karl Otto Koch was convicted and executed by firing squad April 5, 1945. After the Buchenwald camp was liberated, the survivors of the concentration camps told the world about Ilse's involvement, and a public outcry demanded a second trial. Koch was rearrested immediately following her release in 1949 and retried in a West German court. The trial began November 27, 1950, and lasted 7 weeks with 250 witnesses. At different times, Koch informed those present she was pregnant and collapsed several times during the trial, having to be carried out. On June 15, 1951, Koch was convicted of incitement to murder and several other crimes, found guilty, and began her life sentence. She attempted to appeal her sentence several times and even protested to the International Human Rights Commission, but these attempts were dismissed, and she remained in prison until her death with permanent forfeiture of any civil rights. She would hang herself at Eichach Women's Prison on September 1, 1967, and it's only fitting that she claimed she was experiencing delusions of her victims haunting and abusing her in her cell. Nazi war criminal Ilse Koch, the Bitch of Buchenwald, was buried in an unmarked grave in the prison cemetery, killing herself at the age of 60.